Let me tell you something. There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. Because at least as a rich man, when I have to face my problems, I show up in the back of a limo wearing a $2,000 suit and a $40,000 gold fucking watch.
Ever since I was little, I've always been interested in money. I've always had that entrepreneurial mindset. I've always been trying to figure out how I can make some money, how I can get some money. You know, when I was in Jamaica, I would try to sell back juice to the people in the towns. That didn't work because I drank all the back juice. Then I got older and I tried to invent like a type of fertilizer thing with dishwashing liquid, trying to sell that, thinking I was going to be an inventor. And even though when I was growing up, I was interested in the arts and like theater and all of that stuff, I was also thinking like, yo, yeah, this is what I like. How am I going to get a bag? Like, how much does an actor get paid? Like, how much does a director get paid? How much money can a movie make? Because I didn't grow up the absolute worst you can grow up in Jamaica. There was hard times and there was really, really good times. But I always was conscious of the fact that if you don't have some money, you don't have any options. And I wanted to have options. Then I got old enough to where I could get my first job. I was 16 and it was a summer job that my mom got me. It was a desk job, and oh my God, did I hate that job, bro. I would fall asleep, and honestly, if my mom wasn't the boss, I would have gotten fired like the second week. That summer, I made $26,000, but that was Jamaican dollars, so you do the math on that. I bought myself a watch, and then I think I bought US dollars to come to America, which I ended up coming to America that same summer when I was 17. Then I was trying to get my first job while in America, and I did get my first job. This was at a Jamaican restaurant under the books. So I was getting paid $7 an hour, working 13-hour shifts. And looking back now, I have no idea how I even did that. Like, I don't know how I pulled that off, but I did it. And the motive back then was to buy sneakers or a nicer jacket. And I did those things. Then I got a second job, another restaurant job, trying to get more money. Now I was getting paid $9 an hour. And around that time is when I ended up getting introduced to photography. I was in high school in the Bronx, and I went on this school trip. And on this school trip, I met this guy who had a camera. He had a DSLR, had a Nikon. And I was like, yo, bro, I could take a photo? Like, let me see how that works. He showed me. He was mad interested. He was super into photography. And he was down to, like, show me how, you know, I could take a photo, how it would work. Boom, I took my first photo, and me and this guy ended up becoming pretty good friends. Now I'm taking more photos, modeling, trying to do, you know, photography. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to get my own camera. So while working at this restaurant job, the $9 an hour cash, I saved up $400 and I went and got my first camera at B&H. It was a Canon Rebel T7i. Had a little pop-out flash, pop-out screen, nice beginner camera. Then I got the Nifty 50 and I was shooting. My first couple of photos are horrible. I did a photo shoot with my cousin and it was mad green. I wasn't even shooting raw, didn't even know how to edit. But over time and practice, I got better at it. My first client ended up being the restaurant that I was working at the time. So the restaurant that was paying me $9 an hour booked me to come take some photos of the food that they had to put on the menu. And they paid me $100 for that shoot. I was like, wait a minute, y'all just give me $100 for something that I did in an hour. And y'all be paying me $9 to do way harder work each hour for like 4 hours, 6 hours straight. I need to be focusing on this photography gig. But I didn't get a bunch of clients after that. It wasn't like a snowball effect. I wasn't just getting bare $100 clients coming in. And their boy needed another job. So now I'm 18 and I realized that, wait a minute, I'm an American citizen. I could get an actual job. So I get my first actual job working minimum wage, $15 an hour. And it was Foot Action, which is basically Foot Locker before they shut it down. And they did shut down Foot Action and it turned to Foot Locker. So I was working at Foot Locker. Boom, getting sneakers, getting fly, buying shoes, wasting most of my check on shoes because you get the discount. And now I'm working. Now I'm in the working world. I would buy more equipment. You know, that was the one smart thing I did was spending money on equipment because I was full-fledged into photography and videography now. And I was trying to grow my business. At the time, I called it Navir Photography because that's what I did. Then I got like a gimbal and I got video stuff. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to just do photography. I want to do multiple things. And I was like, I want to do multiple things. And I'm working with pixels. Okay, multi-pixel media, right? And if you know me, if you're OG like in my life, you know that was the original company name. So I ran with Multipixel Media for like 2 to 3 years, and I had a website. I was doing photography, doing gigs, you know, and a mixture of photography and working at Foot Locker gave me the confidence to buy my first car, which ended up being a BMW. Got my first car, And then boom, I'm like, yo, smooth sailing. I'm gonna build a business. I'm gonna start making more money, working a job, 9 to 5. Everything's gonna be great. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of Foot Locker. Let's get a new job. Got a new job. This was supposed to be a higher paying, like salary job. But the one catch about this job is that you needed a car. The way the universe works, of course, I get in a car accident the first month of getting this new job. So I lose that job. Now I don't have a job, making no money, getting shoots here and there. I ended up having to even sell some equipment to get by in that time. Then I got a job at a furniture store, and that job was like part-time, really wasn't enough money, $16 an hour. Then I found out about a Nike job, right? So then I'm like, all right, bet. I want to get that job. I would love to work at Nike. I worked in sneakers before. I like sneakers. This would be amazing. This is probably the last job I ever get. So I apply and I got it. Started working at Nike. I think I started working, it was, $18 an hour to start. So boom, I'm working at Nike, buying shoes, still doing shoots and stuff like that, trying to rebuild the business, the multi-pixel media. Somewhere in the middle of all of that, I started a clothing brand. I called it Enframed. Right? That was in 2021. So somewhere around Foot Locker and, the car accident and stuff like that, I started a clothing brand, but I never really took it seriously, right? I kind of did one drop and then kind of fell off, but I had the name Enframed. So now I'm working at Nike, and I've been working at Nike for about a year or two, still trying to build my clientele, doing shoots here and there with different clients and not really doing too much with the brand. I do a drop here and there, but not really doing too much with the clothing brand. After about a year working at Nike, the thing about Nike, they're a great company. They wanted to get me promoted. And when I could see the path of how I could become a Nike manager and how, I could see like, they're like, yo, 5-year incentive, 10-year incentive. And I started to see like, wait a minute, I could be in Nike for like 5-10 years. I was terrified. I was like, yo, I do not want to do that. I do not want to be 30 working at Nike. I do not want to be 35 working at Nike. I looked around. I started thinking about everything. I looked at where I was with my car. I looked at where I lived. I looked at all my expenses. I was like, wait a minute. Can I quit working at Nike? Not to go get another job, not to try to see if there's a better job, but to bet on myself, to work for myself. Can I survive? Can I do that? And at the time, my expenses were about $1,300. Car, haircut, general food purchases. Like, that was really my expenses. $1,300 a month. I wasn't paying rent. I was living with my godmother. I was like, yeah, I can handle that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit. I lived with my Jamaican godmother at the time. You cannot tell a Jamaican parent that you're about to quit the job, like just to bet on yourself. You can't do that. So I basically just lied. When I quit in May last year, and I would get up and go to the cafe and act like I'm, leaving for work. Or I actually said I got a new job because I didn't want it to look like I'm not wearing Nike stuff everywhere I'm going and stuff like that. So I said I got a new job, but the new job was working at Enframe Studios, which is what I ended up changing my production company from Multipixel Media to Enframe Studios, because I had the clothing brand name Enframed, and I know that I at some point wanted to scale out of just being a production company and into some type of thing that would support the clothing brand. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm just gonna call it Enframe Studios, because if one of the names get big, they'll all just, get big in a certain way. That's at least the mentality I had thinking about that. So I quit Nike and I make the move. And around that time, I also started making content, trying to promote my brand more. I really was betting on my camera, right? And I had certain clientele, and I would try to do certain clientele, keep certain clientele going. But there's also things I was learning when it comes to being an entrepreneur and being a business owner while being 22, where I would make mistakes and I would come up short sometimes, right? But I had to learn quickly that that's not going to work if this is my bread and butter. If my production company is what's making me most of the money, I need to be focused on it, right? So there was a time when I was so focused on the clothing brand that I was neglecting the production company. But then I realized, wait a minute, I have to focus on the production company. That's the business that can make me the money right now to sustain my lifestyle. That's the business that can make me work for myself without having to get a handout or get help, until I can then again invest into the clothing brand. And that's what I did. The way I make money working for myself in my 20s is by running a production company based out of New York City, where I provide photography, videography, and drone photo video services. I'm not super niched down. My work is pretty, sporadic, because I do like the ability to work in different offices every day. I like the fact that I could be doing a lifestyle shoot one night and then be doing a music video the next night and then be doing a corporate headshot the third night. You feel me? Like, I like the variety of it. And as long as I can do the work at a quality level, I do take on that work. Yes, I could probably make more money if I niched down, but I like the openness of the things that I do. I know there's a bunch of videos out there that talk about, yo, how to make $10,000 a month passively, no money up, no, degree needed, no expertise needed. Like, but that's not this. I don't make $10,000 a month yet, but I do make money working for myself. And that is a blessing and a privilege to be able to say that. I can pay my bills, I can take care of myself, I can get a haircut when I need one, get myself groomed. I was able to move out, into a 2-bedroom with my boy, and we have similar goals, we have similar aspirations, and we're working towards those things while at the same time trying to navigate our 20s. We're building an office space, I'm working to get new equipment and trying to find ways to evolve my brand and evolve my business to where I can not only add more value to the companies that I work with and the entities that I work with and the people that I work with, but also raise the value that I'm able to create for myself. I feel like money is one of the biggest things you have to figure out and deal with when you're navigating your 20s. And growing up, I've always been conscious of money. I've always known that I'm going to be someone who makes a lot of money. And I'm not afraid to say, I want to be rich. Like, I want to be filthy rich. That's what I would always say. I'd walk around telling everybody that. And I've been in situations where I could do certain things to like get as much money as I can. And I've taken certain risks and failed. I've taken certain chances and it didn't go my way. But this time last year, I was working for the man, a 9-to-5 job, feeling unfulfilled, getting $18.50 an hour. And now I work for myself. I'm able to pay for my bills. I'm able to pay off my debts. And I'm nowhere comfortable or near being rich yet. And I'm not saying that I'm settling for this, but I'm on a way more stable platform to actually go for the numbers that I want to go for. That's one of the best positions to be in. I'm in full control. I'm working for myself. I'm making money working for myself, and I'm still navigating my 20s. So, yeah, I just wanted to make this video to let you know that I'm doing it. You feel me? It was a big risk when I took the chance to go out there and work for myself, and it's not something that you should do lightly. The first couple of months were super, super rough, but I had to pull my bootstraps up and turn it around. And now I'm about to go for the long mile of how I can have different streams of income, whether it be pouring into YouTube, rebooting my clothing brand, doubling down on my business, investing in more equipment, investing in everything it takes, investing in myself, creating routines to make it that I can be more productive on a day-to-day. These are the things I'm going to be focusing on this YouTube channel. And that is what navigating your 20s is all about. Thanks for watching.
Perfect.